Right now.
Hello to all of you. I'm here with Senthil, and we are both going to bring you interesting topics of discussion every week from the world of sports, sports business, and sports technology, and just about everything that is related to sports, activity, movement, physical literacy, you name it, and we're going to talk about it. Senthil comes with the knowledge of business and stats, having spent 9 years in venture capital and 5 years dedicated to the sports industry. Today, he's consulting for various sports and non sports companies, helping them build business strategies, revenue modeling, and expansion. And while you are watching us, I am the founder of Go Beyond Sports and co founder at Match Rematch. I'm an author, a pageant winner, national badminton player on veterans circuit, sports enthusiast, crazy about watching sports and playing. And I love conversations and I absolutely love life. Let's get rolling. And most of all, we both, we don't take any responsibility for the reactions of our personal views. Hence, please continue at your own risk. We dive
Yes.
straight into it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that is really important. It's an important disclaimer to mention, right? Like these are our personal views, and feel free if you wanna, put some hateful comments. If you don't agree with us, we are happy with that.
No, I'm
If you
absolutely not
agree with
allowing
us, reach
hateful
out to
comments,
us.
Senthil. What's a
I
hateful
mean,
comment? We are going to
I
allow
don't
all
know.
very nice comments from everybody. You can keep the hate to yourself.
We will
My point
respond
of
to the
view, by
nice
the way,
comments.
that's not Senthil's point of view. So you can completely understand where and how this conversation is going to go. You are definitely not to be talking cheese here.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't agree on a lot of things, but at the same time, I think it brings out great conversations between us. So we thought, why not start this out? Why not put out good conversations related to sports, and hopefully you guys like it. And we
Please
look forward
contribute.
to hearing
Please
from you.
do contribute. I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to butt into conversation a lot more than Senthil thinks I am. I'm going to
yeah,
cut it short
yeah,
because
yeah.
other than the fact that I love to speak, I'm also a woman. So you see, it's kind of a it's just kind of a taken. I'll speak more words than you ever will, Senthil.
It's
So
okay.
okay,
It's okay.
so Senthil
I'm
will
I'm cool
always
with
be
that.
the
Yeah,
one with the topics, and I will always have more
yeah,
opinion than he does.
yeah.
So what's
Right.
the topic for today?
So I'll I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I was thinking about this, right? Um, Sonali, have you ever heard this saying? यार स्पोर्ट्स में पैसा नहीं है.
Oh my God, you're telling
Have
me.
you heard this?
मतलब मैं
Okay.
फाउंडर गो बियॉन्ड स्पोर्ट्स हूँ मुझे तो बिल्कुल भी कहीं भी नहीं दिख रहे पैसे बट यस इट इज सो
Right.
आफ्टर दिस एपिसोड शायद कोई इन्वेस्ट कर दे मेरी कंपनी में
After, yeah. मैं खुद maybe सोच के.
you've been telling
But
me for
okay.
years.
But I'll tell you. लोग कहते हैं कि स्पोर्ट्स में पैसा नहीं है, right? You've heard this. Okay.
True.
There's no money in sports. It's not cricket. If it's not cricket, there's no money. Why are we even doing it? Why are we starting businesses? So it got me thinking, why are people always saying this, right? And then I went into a rabbit hole and I wanted to figure out sports में पैसा क्यों नहीं है.
Okay.
Okay. And recently I was at a forum called Kridangan, okay, which was in Pune,
Right.
which was organized by Sanan Salil Mitra,
Right.
who is an
Sorry.
ex-archer.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yeah, right. And it was a great event. But what I figured out was that all the people at that event did not know the fundamental reasons what we are fighting, right? And it all comes down to economics. तो जब लोग बोलते हैं स्पोर्ट्स में पैसा नहीं है, my question was कहाँ है पैसा, क्यों नहीं है पैसा, और कहाँ से आएगा पैसा, right?
So
And if we
I
have,
answered this question जो आपने फर्स्ट
हाँ
कमेंट दिया था ना, दैट ये हेट मेल्स जरूर भेजना, तो वो जितने लोग
हाँ
थे उस फोरम में उस दिन, सबसे पहले उनके
हाँ
कमेंट्स आने वाले हैं।
बिल्कुल, आई वेलकम इट। क्योंकि मैंने मैंने आई स्टार्टेड ऑफ लाइक दैट, आई स्टार्टेड ऑफ विद अ quote, which is my quote, okay, which is sports industry today in India is surviving on self optimism,
हम्म।
charity, and delusion.
ओके।
Okay,
ओके।
people think they can achieve and do a lot in sports, but businesses in sports are not attracting great talent. Delusion है, ठीक है? People think that if I create a product, if I create a business, then automatically there are buyers,
ओके।
which is not the case because sports is not an essential spending requirement for probably 95% of the general.
Right, which is
Okay.
true. You say essential, it's not anybody's household incomes,
Yeah.
monthly expenditure.
Yeah. And self optimism because we are all optimistic about it. We are like, अरे स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ करते हैं, स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ करते हैं,
But
सब
ये तो
ऑप्टिमिस्टिक
सही
हैं.
बात है ना, एवरीवन वांट्स टू बी एन एक्टर
या
आल्सो, चलो बॉलीवुड में कुछ करते हैं, ट्राई मारते हैं, कोई तो रोल
बिल्कुल.
मिल जाएगा,
But
कुछ तो
sports
बन ही
industry is way
जाएंगे।
smaller than the acting industry. Okay. Yeah.
एब्सोल्युटली, सो
Acting
ऑप्टिमिज्म तो आई
industry
थिंक
में,
हमारे पास हर फील्ड में है।
see, optimism के साथ मैं भी मुंबई आया था, not for acting, but since I came to Mumbai, I was like, crime petrol में तो एक रोल मिल जाएगा, ठीक है? But it never
आई एम बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट
materialized. I
इन
was too,
मुंबई, हम जीते जागते बॉलीवुड होते हैं, हमको जरूरत ही नहीं है ये सब चीजों की।
या आ, चलो तुम लोग तो फिर भी तुम नहीं आए क्राइम पेट्रोल में, देखो, ठीक है?
There is
Okay.
enough I do at
So 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 that got me thinking, right? Where is the challenge? Okay. And then I started digging deep, and I was like, okay, every business has something to sell,
right.
right? Every business is selling something. And for all intended purposes and for the better quality of this conversation, I don't want to consider fantasy apps. I don't want to consider, uh, gaming apps and gaming platforms. Any of this as part of the sports industry, which they do,
Absolutely.
which they tend to do. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to consider that. I'm talking about academies. I'm talking about sports products. I'm talking about,
Infrastructure. We're talking about
infrastructure. Yeah, I'm talking about
manufacturing.
these businesses which
Absolutely.
are directly related to sports, right? So uh, it got me thinking, if everybody is keen on doing something in sports, but at the end of the day, they all come into the industry and they all are repeating the same thing that there is no money in sports, then is there a fundamental challenge in India? Is it the adaptability? What is it exactly? Right. And then I started doing research. If there is a product, somebody has to buy the product. Are there buyers? How much does a product cost? Are people willing to shell out that money for that product? Right? Is it their necessity or is it their luxury? Right? It comes down to that. And that led me into understanding what is the Indian demography in terms of income, right?
Okay.
Where is the necessity? Where is the luxury? And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to break down sports business. I want to break down how sports businesses can model their revenues. What can they think about? What different ideas that they can bring to the table in order to maximize their reach, maximize their revenue, but at the same time, take into consideration what the Indian income demography is all about,
Right.
right? So let's get right into it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Okay, simple question. Uh, you have kids, yeah?
You ask how many.
How many?
Three.
Three. How much of your cumulative family income, right? You, your husband together, your family income,
Aadhaar-
what percentage? Sorry?
I'm not giving an Aadhaar card interview. I'm definitely not giving you any other.
No, I don't know. I don't want that. But I'm asking you, what percentage of your family income are you willing to spend on your kids' development in extracurricular activities, be it sports, be it art lessons, be it music lessons, be it any of those things. Like, what is that? Did you ever think about this? That okay, I can dedicate this much, or did you ever even consider in your financial planning that this would be a future cost, or uh, do you just go with the flow, whatever it is? But have you thought about this? And today, if I'm asking you this, thinking about it, what would you say? What would be the percentage of your family income that you would be, family, I mean, only you and your husband, would you be saying that, okay, I'm willing to dedicate this X percentage to my children's extracurricular development?
I get that.
What would that be?
So, Senthil, I don't know whether I can say unfortunately, but, I have been extremely, I've been very, very sure in terms of my kids' development and what I want them to do and what I wanted them to do. Besides education, there was always a certain set of things I wanted, and I'm using the word want because this was my want, them to have. One was a sports skill. So for me, it was very fundamental that they pick up on any one sport. Now I'm talking out here as a lay person, lay parent who does who would have definitely given my life for a child who would have had Olympic aspirations himself, herself. But here,
Hmm.
let's put it down as a parent. What do I want my child to do? So yes, any one sport, which is very mandatory as far as I'm concerned, any one art form, which is again very mandatory as far as I'm concerned, whether they're learning music, whether they're singing, whether they're dancing. And to tell you, all three of mine are doing one thing each. So each one of them has picked what they do. Each one of them
Right,
sport. So yeah, that,
right,
and then it was very important where I did not negotiate on three couple of skills where martial arts, defense was non-negotiable. I myself am a black belt and I know the importance of being one. You may or may not get there because that was my passion. But yes, basic skills, which they're also teaching at school. Very important to learn cycling because I think it's such a fundamental, basic human skill that you should have because it takes you to so many
yeah,
places. And swimming, because I think that itself is like a vital skill you should have in terms of not just as a sport, but it's also a basic life skill, right? You have in terms of
life skill. Yeah,
so for me,
right,
as when I started off my journey, because these are all the things I have done for myself as my child, as me as a child as well. I have I've
right,
educated myself in all of these. So yes, my parents also invested that into all of these extracurriculars that I wanted to go to. Every time I took fancy to something new, I am
right,
doing that with my kids every time they take fancy to something new. Now,
right,
however, I also have friends who have kids and who are looking to pursue it, a sport, since we are on a sports channel and we are all about sports, to take it up as a sports career, to have a child go on to always we have Olympian dreams, right? If you're talking non-cricketing sports. So now
right,
every parent will want a Neeraj Chopra. Every parent will now also want a Rohan. I mean, I think we want to be a Rohan. Forget the parent wanting the children. That's going to come way back. But we want to be Rohans, right? So
yeah, yeah,
there is a dream for everyone happening out here. But it really is expensive to sustain that,
yes,
right?
yeah,
No matter which economic bracket you come from, it really is expensive to sustain that. So while you may get back to your statistics about your demographics and all of it, somewhere I would like to ask this question is that why aren't the kids who can really afford to do this, like really do that? Why aren't the elite kids taking up sports and winning Olympics? They have everything at their beck and call.
I'll answer that as well.
Yes.
But let's get into this. Okay, so let's come back to that. Okay, what percentage do you think you would spend of your family monthly income into this development? And you have listed out a lot of development. Now, swimming would require a coach. Probably in the early years, once they learn, they can do it themselves, but that would still require a membership in a pool or a gymkhana or something like that. Okay. Um, you talk about music lessons, maybe one instrument that would, in the early years, again require a coach. And then after, once they learn, probably they can continue doing it. It's not going to cost much, but that's up to their interest. But what is the percentage of family income that you have dedicated or decided to dedicate for their personal development? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever given it a thought that, okay, I'll dedicate this percentage?
I think if I'm going to honestly answer this question, it will never come close to as much as the education fees that we are paying currently, because we are talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
setting out here,
yeah.
right? For a rural setup, for a probably a tier 2, tier 3, when we are not looking at the kind of boards, educational boards. Let's say we are not looking at the IBs or the state boards, CBSEs. We have a lot of options. So when
Mm-hmm.
is doing a state board and or maybe a local board, they are not spending say as much on their education. Extracurriculars becomes where they are spending their money, which then looks like a big thing. But while I am
Mm-hmm.
spending far more on the education, my extracurriculars is minuscule compared to that education that I am anyways putting in for them. Does it make sense?
Fair enough. It makes sense, but I'll tell you something. Since you can't put a percentage to it, I'll tell you almost 90% of the people I've spoken to about this have never even thought of this question. Never thought of it. They put their kids, as the kids are growing up, they put their kids in a karate class. They put their kids in a football coaching, but they have never made it a part of their financial plan. They have never thought about it that, okay, what is my limit? How much can I go to? They've never done that. And
Needs a
all
one
these
quarter what
challenges,
to do with my education for, yeah, for sure. As an
yeah, yeah,
additional expense. So
and
why
all these challenges, you know what?
for education, I'm definitely spending about a 25-30 on these extracurriculars.
Right. Okay. But you have the means for it, right? We'll come to that as well. Okay. But most of the parents have not thought about it. Most of the parents go with the flow. If the kid is interested in something, they go with that flow. But then, because they've not planned it, because they've not thought about it, there is a fundamental challenge that comes after one point, and because of which the kid has to drop out, and that is the financial challenge. All right. So now, having this background, let us break down Indian income demography.
Okay.
Let's understand how many people are there who are interested in this.
Okay.
Okay. So let's look at it. Okay. Another question to you. Okay.
I know you have your stats back of your sleeve, so
Yeah. So one more question. Um, okay. How do I post this? Okay. Uh, how much do you have to earn
okay.
monthly?
Okay.
Okay. Monthly earnings in order to be in the top 10% of India's earning population.
Hmm. Okay. Wow.
Monthly income,
We're talking 10%,
monthly income,
like we're talking about the top
10% top. And just imagine this, we have 140, let's take 150 crore people. And I'm talking about 15 crore. Okay, how much do you have to earn to be in the 15 crore of the 150 crore population on a monthly basis?
Would that be in seven-figure salary?
You give me a number. Give me a number.
I would definitely say to not a seven, but yeah, okay, at least a six-figure salary. Because
Okay, well, give me a number.
I am
Six
looking
figure
for,
can range.
I know it can range. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the figure. So because I'm not a numbers person, but I am looking at top 10. We are not looking at bottom 10, right? So we're looking at top
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
And I'm thinking that the top 1% really has it out there, right? And then the top
Right.
3 or 5% to that ratio is probably your elite and the up out there kind of
Yeah.
whatever. And then maybe your what do you call the upper class, which would come
Mm-hmm.
from your 10% onwards. I think the minimalistic should at least be about a 1 or 2 lakhs.
1 or 2 lakhs per month, right?
It, yeah, look at the kind of population we have, or yeah, let's just go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 or 2. What do you prefer?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay, let's take 1.5. Okay. So, not a bad guess, not a bad guess at all, because I've asked this question to a lot of people, and I actually thought that people should be aware of this because it's come on news channel, not on news channels, but it's come on news articles and newspapers and stuff like that, especially online articles. But uh, most people would go upwards of either 1 crore a month or 10 crores a month, things like that. You're still pretty close. You're still pretty close. Uh,
Wow.
the actual stats, Indian stats, all right, Indian government statistics. If
I
you
just want
earn,
to add that I think I'm close only because
yeah,
I was kind of looking at what that 1 lakh or 2 lakh can buy for you in India in terms
okay,
of
okay,
purchase power or standard of living, maybe.
possibly, but that your experience can also be skewed
I'm
based
sure.
on where you're living.
I'm
Yeah,
absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure.
right. So, think about it like this, right? India, okay, if you earn 25,000 rupees, you're in the top 10% of the population. 25,000 rupees. This is government stats, okay? And when you were talking about the elite, the 1% have it all, okay? Sorry to disappoint you, but if you earn 50,000 rupees, you're in the top 1.7% of this country, okay? 1.7% of this country, okay? The upper middle class that you're talking about, that is about 1%, okay, of this country. So if we talk about India as a whole, and we talk about government earning taxes, we talk about the tax paying money going into building things like Atal Setu and building, promising grains to the farmers and the rural population, etc., etc. All that money that is coming comes from about uh, 2% of the country. Okay, 2%. So India as a country is surviving on 2% of earning members.
Wow.
All right. Now, I would not say just that because also everybody else is paying indirect taxes. They're paying taxes on goods. They're paying GST. For example, very simple example: a guy who is earning 15,000 and a person who is earning 1.5 lakhs a month. both those people, even though this guy is earning 10% of what that guy is earning, they pay the same amount for fuel. Okay. And they travel the same distance.
Right.
They probably travel by the same vehicle.
Very true.
Okay.
Yep.
But this guy earns 15, that guy earns 1.5,
Interesting.
right? So if you break down the statistics with respect to income demography,
Okay.
right,
Okay.
then you realize that sports, which is really not that essential,
It is
okay,
in
how many people, how many people are going to spend money on that? Just think about it, okay? So if we have to break it down probably to a level where we say that, okay, let's say even the people who are earning less than 25, even the people who are earning between 25 to 50, let's take all of them included. Let's take about 5% of the population. 5%. That's 7.5 crore Indians out of a 150 crore population. All right. 7.5 crores. And that reflects in the number of people who buy the Indian jersey, the cricket team jersey, and the number of people who are watching the Indian cricket matches free on their phone.
wow.
That's reflective. Okay. So you can see the number of people watching Indian cricket team play on their phone. Sometimes you go World Cup, there were 25, 30, 100 million, 102 million. There were crazy stats, right? But how many of them are willing to buy an Indian cricket team jersey? Because they can't afford it. They can't, right? Some of them will take it on EMI, but they can't afford it. Now you bring that to sports businesses. You say, chalo, cricket coaching karunga, football coaching, or any of these coaching, which is going to charge a bare minimum, I would say at least 2,000, 2,500 rupees a month. If 80% of the country is earning 15,000 and 90% of the country is earning less than 25,000, given all the expenses that they have, be it house rent, be it food, be it their own, requirements, what they need, groceries, etc., they fuel, vehicle EMIs, probably if they need to save some money, send some money home, support their parents, put all of that together. Do they have any money left to spend on their children's extracurricular activity?
Perhaps which is why
And like school fees.
I think you've just so
Yeah.
beautifully put in the answer to this very, in fact, this question which most of us are always talking on sports forums is why is it that sports is not a necessity? Why is it that most parents are not choosing sports? Why is it that Indian parents choose education over sports? And I think this is where you brought it down to, because the basic income in itself, the means to survival is so little that you need those
Yeah.
hands. This is just has been the Indian mentality for over years, that you require
Yeah.
extra hand for sustainability and perhaps to just achieve those few basic dreams of having a normal lifestyle. Forget Olympian Games.
Yeah. You can't even dream Olympian. So that's the reason why charity comes into play. Most of our sportsmen either grants, either support from some kind of institution, either working for a government
Right.
organization and being picked up from there,
Most of the
you
sports
know?
that are really doing very well are the ones who are within the sector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
We have
if
3
you
minutes
bring sports businesses,
from Senthil.
sorry,
We have 3 minutes for Senthil to break this down for you, because we want to leave them with a lot more thought.
oh, 3 minutes. Okay.
Conversation where they will want to
Yeah. So
actually don't.
what we can do, we can break into a break and then we can come back. Yeah.
Oh, we can. I think it's going to be too much for them to handle. Let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Too much.
let.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, on a fun note, yes, but I think the stats that you've spoken about really do give it a lot of food for thought for both of these questions as to why there isn't this much of sports spend that is happening, not only from the
Yeah.
aspect of it, because really this is where we are at, but also from a very parental aspect of it, where we are always vying and always trying to answer this question: why is it that parents are not choosing sports over education?
Yeah.
Where is
Yeah.
choice not happening for us as even, say, which person in India, let me just not even think of the remotest parts, but like a basic, even a rural India. Again, I'm going to take the example of Neeraj Chopra because he's our current biggest superstar. Who does not really not know him? Or say a
Yeah.
state like Haryana or a state like Rajasthan or a state like Bihar or wherever. Which state does not know their state champions? And then how many of them
Yeah.
don't know their national champions? They all do.
Yeah.
But how many of
Yeah.
them can still choose to become like them? And that's where all of
Exactly.
that's come in and fallen, and that's where it kind of ends. So I would love a very quick end note from you before I give my end note to them.
Quick end note is that I mean, these are just stats that give the reality for sports businesses. Now, we have solutions to this. We have solutions, we have ideas how sports businesses today, even academies, even sports tech companies, people who are building innovative products, how they can sort of navigate through this kind of an economic mindset and bring out good quality turnout in terms of adaptability, in terms of sort of revenues as well. So we definitely
Covered
can
from the
they'll dive deep into it,
true.
and yeah, we'll do it.
Yes, we.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening into our conversations. You're definitely welcome to write in, comment, and please leave your points of views or your opinions. See you soon with another new friendly banter next week.